Right, recently I did a little video about multi-tools and how useful they are, and one of the tools that I brought up in that video was not so much a multi-tool but a bit more of a workshop tool, and it was this X-Tools torque wrench set. I had a few questions and messages regarding this particular one, and I thought it might be worthwhile just giving you a quick overview of what something like this does and why I think you should get it. So there are two main things that one of these products do for you. One is they will make sure that the bolts on the bike are done up to the correct tightness or the right torque, and also the fact that it has a ratchet setting on will mean that you find that you're not actually putting hex keys or Allen keys into something multiple times to tighten it. So for instance, I might be tightening something up here and I might find it easier to pop it in, tighten, take it out, tighten, take it out, tighten. And in the process of removing and putting this back on, I may have inserted this tool into that head, I don't know, a dozen times or more. There's already a little bit of play in a lot of these, because if they were too tight they just wouldn't fit. But that little bit of play and that constant putting in and out will just slowly wear down the inside of this, and potentially even the hex key itself. A ratchet means that it will go in, and let's do it the right way, it will do in and you don't have to take it back out. So now it's only gone in once. So that's advantage number one of using a ratchet. Now let's look at the torque side of things. I'm not going to get into the science of what Newton meters are and what torque is, but basically it's how tight you need to do the bolts up in a really simplest term. So most of these bolts around the handlebars here, they've typically got something like a 5 Newton meter setting. It actually says on the side here 5.2. so that's the torque setting for the stem connecting to the steerer tube and to the handlebars. So you don't want to do anything up any tighter than that, and any looser than that you could argue that maybe it's not done up tight enough. Let's have a look at how one of these works in that setting. So along the side of here there's a thermometer looking dial that you go up and down, and the higher the number, the tighter the bolt, if that makes sense, or the harder it needs to be turned. So for instance, as I've said, on the bars here these are set at around about 5 Newton meters. Down here on the wheel axle, this says here 9 to 13.5, which is a bit of a bracket, but if you aim for somewhere around sort of 11, 12, I'm sure you'll be all right. But that just goes to show that that needs to be a little bit tighter than these. What you'll also notice is a bigger bolt can have a higher torque setting than a smaller one. You put a lot of torque through a small 3-4 mil bolt, then you'll probably snap it, and that's another thing that you want to prevent from doing, because if you just swap in some bits over on your handlebars and you over tighten them and then you snap a bolt, suddenly you've got no brake caliper attached to your bars or something. So quick lesson, let's wind this down to somewhere between 4 and 6. So the settings for all these ones on the bars that I've just said is 5.2, so we set this to somewhere between 4 and 6. And now this that I've just loosened off, we'll just tighten it back up, and you can just sort of feel it getting tighter as you would normally with a bolt. And then when it reaches that torque setting, still not there, there we go. When it reaches that torque setting, it'll still allow you to push a little bit further, but there's your warning sign. So in summary, this little device here, costing, like I say, between sort of 30 and 50 quid. You could spend hundreds on this kind of stuff if you want to, but one of these devices for, like, say, 30-50 quid is going to save your bolts, it's going to save your handlebars, it's going to make sure that your wheels are done up tight enough and your wheels aren't going to fall off. And yeah, go get one if you haven't already got one. And who doesn't like some nice new tools, eh? So I'll put a link below where you can buy one of these, probably somewhere like Chain Reaction.
It will be a affiliate link, so if you buy something, then I may get a few pennies. Probably not much, but yeah, go take a look, and if you've got any questions, pop them below, and I'll see you soon.